into the microphone. Can you guys hear me in the front? Then that's all we need. Anyone in the back who wants to join us, you may. It's very loud up here. I can hardly hear myself. How am I doing? Does it sound? Okay, that sounds even better. Now I can hear myself. So, welcome. For those of you that are listening and want to know what we're doing here, I'm going to tell you right now. My name is Misha Kahneman-Taylor, and I'm from the University of Georgia, and I have the privilege and the luxury of being able to teach a creative writing class for future and current language educators, those who are studying to become English language teachers in a variety of places, a variety of worlds. And this semester, we have students, poets from China and Vietnam and Korea and the good old USA. So we're here to share some of our poems as we become more creative teachers of the English language. And to open, one of my assignments in my class, I teach in the Department of Language and Literacy Education in the TESOL and World Language Program. And one of the things every student has to do is recite a 14-line poem or longer by someone else during the semester. And four of our students waited till the very last class to do their recitation, and their reward is to recite here at Hendershot's. Please welcome Sandra.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the night. Though wise men at their end, no dark is right. Because their words have forged no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in the green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men, who caught and sent the sun in flight, and learned too late they graved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes, could blaze like Nereus and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Thank you.
It's Stopping by Boots on the Snow in England by Robert Frost. Whose woods are there? I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will see me stopping there to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse might think it queer to stop without the farmhouse near. Between the wood and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gave his varnish shell a shake to ask if there's any mistake. The only other sound is the sweep of the easy wind and dawny lake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promised to keep. The miles to go before I sleep, the miles to go before I sleep.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Vivian. And the poem I'm gonna recite is Down by the Sally Garden by William Yeats. Down by the Sally Gardens, my love and I with me. She passed the Sally Gardens with little snow white feet. She bid me take love easy as leaves grow on the tree. And I, being young and foolish, with her would not agree. In a field by the river, my love and I did stand. And on my leaning shoulder, she laid her snow white hand. She bid me take life easy, as grass grow on the wheel. And I was young and foolish, and I'm full of tears. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ru, and the poet I'm gonna to recite is the same name with Sandra. It's named Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night.
I really like this poem. It is millennial, and I like this step of poem. Now I'm going to recite it. Oh, I'm a bit nervous to recite a poem among those people. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage, of the dying of the light. Good man.
The last wave cry.
I'm sorry. Could I recite it again? Cause I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do not go gentle into that good night. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is bright, because their work had fought no lighting day. Do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last way by, crying how bright. Dear phrase this had danced in a green bay. Rage, rage, against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and saw the sun in flight, and learned too late, they grieve it on its way. Range, range, against the dying of the light. Brave men near death, who see with blinding sight. Blind eyes could bleed like meters and be gay. Do not go gentle into that good night. And you, my father, there is no side height. Cause bless me now with your fear tears. I pray, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Good job.
Let me see how this works. So usually they don't get to have a piece of paper with them. I'm very strict about it, but it's a little different here, right? a little more scary. So I see that I'm not really sure how to make this move. I'm going to learn. Okay, there we go. So it's this on this side if you're tall or short. And someone just asked, oh, so who am I? May I tell you? So I teach at the Department of Language and Literacy Education at UGA. And this is within the context of students learning to be English teachers internationally or locally. And they take a crazy poetry class with me. So if you're interested, it's offered every year. I try to have it every academic year, and also in the summer we do an intensive six-day like workshop with morning till night with readings and speakers, and it's really awesome. So I hope to see you again sometime. Yeah, bye. We cleared the house. It's okay. So I write with my students, with you all. I've been writing all semester. Maybe I haven't written every assignment that I've given you, which I usually try to do, but I do. I've been putting together this book, and I hope someday it'll realize its purpose. It's right now titled Imperfect Tense, and that stems from my knowledge of Spanish, and they have two different past, or many different past tenses that we don't have in English, and one of them is referred to often as the imperfect. And I chose that title for my manuscript because I think there's a theme of language going throughout it and how imperfect all language learning is. So I'm going to read to you the opening poem, and then I'm going to introduce Leonard, who will be reading after me. And then each of you will take a turn and we'll snake through, and please be preparing so that we don't have a lot of time in between poets. We'll do one round, everybody doing one poem, and then we'll take a short break and then see if we want to do a second poem. Does that sound good? Do you guys have any questions? Okay. I just want you to know we have esteemed faculty from the Department of Language and Literacy Education here. I'm so grateful Michelle Camaris is here.
My pleasure.
May I say? And we have my esteemed colleague and fine poet and amazing editor, Stephen Corey from the Georgia Review is here. And I'm sure we have many esteemed people in our midst, as far back as possible. So this first poem is titled Whorfian Hypothesis. Do you know who Benjamin Lee Whorf was? He's an anthropologist. I'm not going to give you a whole lecture, but one of his quotes is that every language builds a house of consciousness. He really believed, looking at indigenous languages in the Americas, that language led to different ways of thinking. And many people often refer to Whorfian theory when they talk about the Eskimos having lots of different words for snow, and that we simply don't see snow the same way if we're not from that culture. So this poem is called Whorfian Hypothesis. I wouldn't have thought of rice particles until reading them, unconditionally named, subtitled from Tagalog, or of measuring, as Cambodians do, the length from elbow to tip of middle finger. Any number of words builds a house of consciousness. One rock, Azibik in Ojibwe, contains bald eagle spirit, just as La in La Roca houses gender. And to say babka in Polish is to link grandmother with the loaf served at Easter, which is different from a Japanese slice. Our idioms order he, third person singular male subject, before drives, verb, and her, the object, up an inanimate wall, whose blue-chipped hue can only be described in New Guinea as either dark or cold. Few of us learn to count in the language of mantis shrimps, whose eyes see in 12 primary colors to our 3. Linguistic systems of sight where whole spectrums go untranslated. I'd like to lift the blinds, feel my blood stir as it once did, catching far away nouns by the tail. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the very funny Leonard Tyler. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tyler. Hello, everyone. My name is Leonard, and it's my first time to be in the bar in America. It's kind of weird. I'm going to read my lousy English poem in the American bar instead of buying myself alcohol. All right. My fellow classmates and I are all Chinese English learners. We are now still learning English, and we are struggling to try to understand the native speakers, and we are struggling to make ourselves writing, speaking understandable to the native speakers. So I think it is great for us to take the course, to take Misha's course of poetry writing, because poem, I think, is the most challenging task of the language. So we took this class to learn English culture, American culture, and challenge ourselves. And now I'm very glad to introduce one of my favorite work to you. As you can feel, it's getting colder and colder recently. One thing I hate most about winters is that it's such a pain in the ass to get up early in the cold winter morning. But to get up early is a good habit, because if we can get up early, maybe half an hour or 1 hour every day, we can have more time to do the things we like, to improve ourselves, to read, to do some workout, physical workout, to keep health. However, it's very hard for us to get up early in the morning. So my poem, Wake Up and Give Up, described such as tough struggling of getting up early in the morning. Wake Up or Give Up by Leonard. How many planes have you given up? A voice echoes in my head. How many planes are you going to pick up? The voice continued to shake me like a huge cold hand dragging me out of my bed. How many planes have you given up? I don't remember. Maybe 100? Thinking of past planes that were already dead. How many planes are you going to pick up? To lose weight? To read books? To get up early to see the sunshine? But I'm still sitting on the bed instead. So many planes you have given up. The bed is so comfortable that it makes time flee. So many planes you are going to pick up. I have new plans and I will finish them. Just wait and see. I go back to sleep and forget what I have just said. How many planes have you given up? How many planes are you going to pick up? Thanks.
Hello, my name is Echo, and I'm very glad to hear Leonard's beautiful poem. And my poem's subject is Red Leaf. I created this poem as the second year when I stayed in Athens. And when I first came to the United States, many people asked me, "Do you like this place?" And I said yes. And the most thing impressed me most of Athens is its autumn, which is very different from my hometown, China. Now I'm going to share my poem, Red Leaf. Why autumn's not willing to present with equal treatment. It dyes my hometown yellow-brown, but gives Athens with orange redness. Late for class, I'm dashing out to bus, but always stopped by a red leaf that's lying on the ground. But how many red leaf bookmarks I can pick up in Athens? Shall I stay just for the redness stamped in my heart? Thank you. And now I'm going to introduce Wake Up to hear this poem.
Hi everyone, my name is Wei Kang, and I also come from China. And this poem I'm going to read to you is called Cell Phones. I created this poem because in many places you will see people usually lower their hand and play with their cell phones. So I think it's really good time to give us a reflection. So okay, let's begin here. Cell phones. Strange faces, anxious eyes, in crowded train cars. Lost people in their guise, counts the clicks of the reels. The heads submerged from small schooners, like a great purge. Stiff hands uncompromised, curved body gestures, finger whizzes on tiny keyboards, like nothing but chord gestures, play the beast parts, like dumbness. Not prepared for, not expected, but transmitted to every single person in the train cars. A cough, a light with clicks. When I look up and over the clouds, communication is, you are looking at me when I'm looking at you. Thank you. Now let's give the floor to Li Yun.
Hello everyone, I'm Li Yun. I'm from Shanghai, China. I wrote this poem during the Moon Festival. It's a time for family reunion back in China, just like Thanksgiving in the United States. And as a Chinese student, many people will joke about that, like every Chinese student will finally become a chef in the United States because we have a Chinese stomach, America is good, but the food maybe not that good. So I wrote this poem just like an experience in my kitchen in family housing. So witness through the kitchen window, I know the knife's unendurable bleakness, glistening in their blocks, fallenness of shears and cutting board, all the solitude of spice rack and salad spinner, solitary stainless sink, kitchen stove and dining table, the tiresome pepper grinder and juice blender, mixture of garlic, ginger and scallion, and I've seen oil stain, the oven's grease top, more shiny than silverware, less greasy than fat, its clutter and pop-breaking midnight quiescence, spattering over in round apron and against a Chinese teacup, where I've green leaves dance together with the reflection of milk-white full moon in the sky. Thank you. Now let's welcome our Vietnamese poet, Chao.
Hi everyone, and I was born with only one name, but when I came to the US, I started to get many names. Some people call me international student, some call me Vietnamese student, and some even call me non-immigrant alien. So today, this theme going to be in my poem. And this poem is titled, Just Call Me Rosemary. Life labels me with so many names in Greek, Latin, Italian, and English. I appreciate that humans are so generous, but my name, my title, should be what I decide. Botanists describe me dew of the sea. In Latin, it's Romarinus officinalis. Mythologists honor me wisdom, see Minerva, the Roman goddess, is always depicted haunting me in Greek stories. Chefs remind me my originality, Mediterranean herb whose fragrant ocean winds fetch back. Who am I in this fancy world? Maybe just call me Rosemary. Oh, thank you. The next one, I would like to invite Sandra.
For the revision.
I have to say thank you, Dr. Misha, that we all have chance to
be here and recite or read our own poems because I've been reading and reciting and sometimes write Chinese poems in China for like 15 years. But I hope that one day I can like stand on the stage of like American stage that to recite in English, you know. So yeah, it's kind of like I realized my dream, and also I hope that I can enjoy this moment, and of course you all can enjoy it. And I just recite a Villanelle from Dylan Thomas. Don't go gentle into that good night. It's like an really famous Villanelle. And now I'm gonna recite my Villanelle, Forget. It's about my life. So yeah, I just want to share it with you all. Forget. We hate forgetting things that we ought to remember. Like forgetting to apply sun cream, we suffer sunburn. But sometimes, not remembering to forget can also be a disaster. It was too late to see the calendar that showed me I forgot to pay the balance I earned. I always forget things that I was trying to remember. I can't believe that I did not go to the writing center. A serious thing, since I am desperate to learn, to improve, to learn. Overwhelmed by work and courses, I push myself to the edge of disaster. Last week, I forgot the birthday of my best friend forever. I felt embarrassed. Friendship was once my top concern. Guilt wrecked me. Is it that hard to remember? Remembering life's trivial, however, riles my temper. Same flower we saw, same word we used, same food we ate, all earn me that failing to remember to forget you makes my life a disaster. My behavior seems norm, my speech tone calm, like in storm center. From where I walk a step further, your last tenderness engulfs me again. We always forget things that we ought to remember. But even worse, not remembering to forget you incurs real disaster. Thank you. Let me introduce Yi.
Hi, I'm Yi, and the point I'm going to share with you is about the experience during my summer break. It's in New York. Sorry. And again, a question posted by a New Yorker. Summer break, July. I was at a place so much like home. The neon light, busy throngs, garbage on road. But this was not my city. Wandering and gazing around when the crowd pushed me, confronted a suited woman who doubled toward me when I tried to give way, but she moved to the same direction. Now both of us could not pass. Before I could say anything, "What are you doing?" She glared at me as if I were a clumsy alien. Her face whiter than pale. Right, it's New York. Politeness is invalid. Hostile makes the way to survive. What am I doing is a question I wish to ask myself. 2 blocks away from the Times Square, half a world away from home, in the legendary center of the universe, alone. I'm sorry. Failed to answer the question, I stopped. Let her pass. For 1 second, I wish I were the one to say, "Give me your wallet." But I might even get stuck on words being a robber in New York.
I will introduce myself again. My name is Lu, and I will share you one of my poems. I stay up too late to prepare a midterm exam. I stay up to prepare a midterm exam, struggling with many kinds of sorting. How abstract it is, the algorithm. I never thought I would spend so much time continuing to do endless exercise, staying up too late to prepare a midterm exam. Discussing with a young man from India, I found he has a certain purpose. Finding a stable job in the US, more than interesting. How useful it is, the algorithm. Indicates pivot, recursive random. Although I don't think it is interesting, I have to stay up late to prepare a midterm exam. Expectation, outer statistics, and linear time, why they are so hard to understand. How incredible it is, the algorithm. In order to make the whole term productive, each person tries one's best to prepare. I stay up late, studying for the midterm exam. How difficult it is, the algorithm. Thank you. Welcome, Maggie. Hello everyone, I'm Natalie. And the time we're doing the practice about the persona with the Dr. Misha, which is like do the role play, like imagine yourself as another person or something. So that time I pretend to be I imagine myself as the man who are committing suicide. So yeah, I jumped into a lake because my life is full of depression and difficulty. The water swallows me quickly, come into my nose, my trachea, my lungs. I see fish passing, punches of wheels dancing. I start to feel dizzy, painful, my body becomes lighter. Suddenly I recall everything, think about everyone, and how my parents taught me talking and walking, how my friends loved and cried with me. My wife is now waiting for me with dinner. I need to pick up my son from the kindergarten. Suddenly, I want to get rid of the water to enjoy my